YouTube, what is going on? Christopher Journals, Comics and Pop Culture. I've changed my position in my video, guys, so you guys can get a different view of what's going on behind me. This is my Star Wars wall. I always have my Transformers behind me, usually when I'm in front of the camera, but today I thought I might change it around a little bit. So, guys, video today is going to be talking about ethics as a comic book buyer. So, many of us probably have been in situations where we might be hit with the question of what is right and what is wrong in terms of how to approach a situation where we are possibly buying comic books. Now, of course, if you're buying it from a store, you know, or I don't know, it's a storefront. You go into any kind of storefront, whether it's a supermarket, a Best Buy, a Target, a Walmart, or LCS, and you kind of, you know, pay what's marked on the books and on the items, right? So these are more for situations where, you know, maybe somebody is selling online, somebody is selling in a garage sale. But the big question is, are there unethical ways to approach somebody selling comic books when the price is extremely low and you know that those books are worth a lot more? For example, if you go to a garage sale and they have a huge box of comics or something, and you see some Silver Age books, you see some keys, maybe there's an Amazing Spider-Man 129 in there, and they're asking like $1 per book or something like that, or, you know, name your price or whatever it may be. Is it ethical to see a book of extreme value or high value and still accept a low price for it from the seller and walk away with a clear conscience? Can you do that, right? So here's the thing. I've heard Silver Age Dave in this community discuss issues kind of regarding these situations. I myself, personally, I haven't really been in these kind of situations. I haven't been that lucky, so to say, if you want to look at it like that. I've never been in a situation where even if it's like at a Goodwill, I've seen people find like, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 300s at Goodwill for like $2 or something. I've never been in those situations. I mean, I've gotten deals on eBay where, you know, I win a bid and it's a solid deal. I hit sales and I find books for a solid price, but I've never ever gotten a book at an extremely low cost when it's like a key or a high value book. I've never been that lucky in my life. But to answer this question regarding ethics, regarding like what's the right thing to do, for me, there isn't one correct answer. But I'm going to explain it like this. In the overall scheme of things, as a buyer, I believe it is up to the seller to set the tone of the sale and to set the value of what they think their books are. So as a buyer, you're going to go into a situation and take the best offer that the seller is presenting to you. This is how any situation in a free market works. And also within a free market, we as buyers usually are going to want to offer low, and sellers should probably offer high to begin with. But if we're dealing with situations where we're not even discussing offers and there's set prices and the price is already set low, as a buyer, is it really your responsibility to be the morale or the ethic police and change what a seller is asking? So let's go into a situation. Say you are going to a garage sale. You go to a garage sale and, like I said earlier, you see a box or a couple of boxes of comics. You start looking through them. Some of them are really beat up. They may be from the 80s. They may be from the 70s. And in that box, you see a key book. Like I said, maybe it's an Amazing Spider-Man 129. Maybe it's Amazing Spider-Man, what is it? 100? 101? First appearance of Morbius or something. Something that's not, thousands of dollars, but hundreds of dollars, right? And you're looking through it and you're like, oh, wow. And then you see the individual that's having the garage sale and you're like, hey, I'm looking at this box. I like what I'm seeing. What's your prices on these books? Oh, they're all just $1 each, or you can take the whole box for $50 or something like that. Is it your duty in this situation to say, but look, buddy, you got this book here. This book is Amazing Spider-Man 129. In this condition, it's probably worth like $500, $600. I'm going to be the a-hole right now and tell you it is not your responsibility as a buyer to do that. If you're going through this and you see that book and you ask the seller what they want for this box and they tell you $50, you reach into your wallet and you pay them $50. Maybe you give them 60 because you know they got something in there a little nicer. Maybe you give them 100 because you know you're getting a good deal and you want to be nice. That's up to you. But in no way is it your responsibility to pull that key book out and say, but buddy, this book is worth 10 times that. Now, with that being said, I have a couple exclusions of this situation. Now, this is a situation where it's either one, a child, and it could be at a garage sale setting. It could be maybe he's walking up to a LCS and he's like, hey guys, anybody want to buy my books? So I don't know, wherever the case may be, if it is a child, whether that child be 8 years old or 15 years old, you do not sit there and accept the offer. That is where I say it is your responsibility as a grown man or woman too, to recognize that this is the child. First off, you don't know where the child got the books from. You don't know if they're the child's. You don't know if it's the child's father's or who knows what. Secondly, you don't know if that child has permission to sell those books. So say it was a garage sale and I was going through the same thing and it's a kid, maybe the kid's like 12 or 13 years old, and I'm asking, hey, what do you want for this box? And I see an Amazing Spider-Man 129 and there's like, oh, $50. I'm going to look at it and be like, are these your books? And even if he says yes, I'm going to be like, are your parents home? And if the parents are home, I'm going to have one of the parents come out, or whoever the legal guardian is that's there, and ask them, hey, I just wanted to verify with you guys, you guys are selling these books. What's the price on them? If the adult at that point gives me validation that yes, indeed, we are willing to get rid of this box for $50, there you go. As a buyer, I'm going to pay it. So I'm never going to accept something like that from a child, though, because like I said, you don't know what the circumstances are. And that's where, ethically speaking, in my opinion, it is wrong. Another situation is if it's an elderly person. I don't mean just an old person. You could be at a garage sale and there could be a 70-year-old man. You'd be like, oh, yeah, it's my old collection, or my son went off to college or something. He just left them here and I called him. What do you want me to do with these books? I don't care, Dad. Get rid of them. Just take them for $50 or something. When I say an elderly person, I mean an elderly person that is not capable of the mental capacity, or maybe even physical capacity can come into it. There's something that's challenging this individual to say, make a proper decision. And I'm going to say whether if they're senile in some sort of way, or if they're handicapped in some form of way, maybe they don't have access to the internet. And I'm going to explain why I'm saying that right now. But this is another situation where I'm going to be skeptic. I'll ask a lot of questions like, whose are these? Were these yours? Whatever. If there is a son or a daughter that's a grown up, that's a situation where I personally would kind of really dive into it to allow myself to feel comfortable. If they didn't know like how to research value of comic books or something like that, I may feel bad to say, hey, look. But if the answer is clear, like, I don't care, $50, take it, it shows me that they consciously made the decision to say, I really don't care what the value is, take them. $50, whatever. And I'm going to go into explaining more of that in a minute here, but I'm going to say one third final ethical situation is if you know that the money needed for the books are needed for some kind of medical emergency. Somebody's dying. They need to pay for a funeral because somebody died. They just lost their home or lost their job. If there is a situation like this, personally, I can't sit there. I can't say that I would just take what they're asking, because this is a dire situation. And again, it changes the whole dynamic of what's forcing them to sell. Now, as buyers, is it our duty to always ask those questions? Not really, but you know, if there is a situation where, you know, you're at a garage sale or you see an estate sale, you know, sometimes it may be posted. You know, we buy a lot online, or we see these things on Facebook or on Craigslist, and it may say need money for medical procedure, or death in the family, need emergency money, trying to get rid of anything we possibly can. Then you know. But if you go into an estate sale or a garage sale and you just start casually talking to whoever's running it and they bring these things up, that's where it's like, okay. Now, if there's a situation, again, where there's an Amazing Spider-Man 129 or like a Fantastic Four number 49 or something like that, I may not sit there and tell them, like, this book is worth $1,000. So I may say, look, you know what? I understand you're going through some hardships right now. You guys need some money. I know that you're asking $50 for this box, but I'm going to be honest with you and say these books, some of these books do hold some value. So let me kind of help you out and give you a couple $100 or something like that. So you're balancing it, because keep in mind too, if you don't take them, most likely, because I don't know, I never done a poll on this, but I don't know. The next person can come and give them $50 and walk away and not care. Or they could go bring them to an LCS and get even less money, because the LCS is going to, I mean, even for key books, an LCS is going to pay you freaking dimes to the dollar. Okay? So, again, you got to play these situations by ear. You got to fill out the situation. But I stand firmly in general, if the adult individual that is selling these books, either online, on a forum, garage sale, estate sale, is adamant about the price that they set, and even if that price is extremely low, as a buyer, you accept it. Now, I'm going to explain why. We live in a day and age right now in 2019 where a few things are happening, okay? One thing, the access to information is literally at our fingertips. So, people may argue, well, you know, they might not know anything about comics. I'm going to say this, and maybe this is a little, a little harsh. Anybody that is selling comics, like I said, unless they are a child or an elderly person that just isn't adapted to the modern world, anybody selling comics, anybody selling anything can pull out a smartphone, pull out a laptop, a tablet, or a computer, go on Google and type in value of comic books. If I don't know, what do I know? I know nothing. I don't know much about tools or like I don't know. I'm trying to think of things. Furniture. Like if I was trying to sell something, I would go on Google and look at like eBay, or I would just Google value of stuff. You know, if you're trying to sell a car, right? If you're trying to sell a used car, what do? You're going to want to go online and like find Kelly Blue Book before you set a price, right? I mean, that price for that car could be anywhere from $200 to $20,000, depending on what kind of vehicle it is. So going in blindly is kind of like, it's kind of your fault. I don't know much about cars. I've never been like a mechanic type of guy. I've never worked on a car, but I know darn well certain cars hold value, certain cars don't. The more mileage you put on it, so I'm going to go research it. The same with comic books. Now, to pair with this, we also live in a day and age with the cinematic universes, comic books being so big with TV shows and in the movies and everything, and superheroes have been around for over 80 years now. Even people everyone I know, because I love comics and I'll bring it up, everyone I know, from my parents to friends, or even my kids' friends. Like, everyone knows that comics hold some sort of value. Everyone knows that comics are a collectible. Everyone. I can't think of one person in my head that doesn't know that comics hold some sort of value. Now, I may show them in Amazing Spider-Man 129 and a freaking book that I bought in the 50-cent bin, and they might not know the value between the two. But if they were in possession of these books and said, you know what, I'm just going to sell them at a garage sale or something, or I'm going to post on Craigslist and try to sell these, it takes literally seconds or a couple minutes to go on Google and find some sort of value. So, paired with the fact that the understanding that comic books are collectibles, and understanding that we have technology at our fingertips. If you are selling anything in this day and age and you don't research the value before you put a price tag on it, that is on you. That is on you. To me, you're either being lazy, or honestly, you just don't care. And that is your prerogative. Like I said, unless you are an elderly person that is suffering from some kind of situation where you can't access these things mentally, physically, or whatever it may be, unless you are a child, or unless there are extreme circumstances, usually which will be noted or you will find out about in some form of fashion, even just, like I said, creating small talk at a garage sale. So, guys, now, well, let me just say one more thing too. I'm speaking on a book. I use Amazing Spider-Man 129 as my main example here. I'm using a book that in, near mint condition, or, is anywhere from 1,000 to maybe, 1,500 at this point. High, mid-grade, 500-600. What if there was, Spider-Man #1, Fantastic Four #1, things like this? What if there were books that were actually worth thousands of dollars? That could change the conversation a little bit. But again, guys, it's up to the seller. It really is up to the seller to set the tone. So I understand that if we can't live with ourselves in decisions that we make, that's fine. Maybe as a comic collector, you're extremely wealthy. And it's more about finding the collections, finding the books, and not worrying about the price tag that you're paying for them. If that's the case, then hey, throw down, let them know and throw it down, throw the cash down. But most of us collecting, I would assume, are average Joes that are, we work 9-to-5 jobs. We're struggling to survive just like anyone else. And this is a hobby that we, try to budget and manage for the best that we can. And we all have hopes and dreams to aspire to have a great collection with, old books or valuable books for whatever reason. Whether it's just because you enjoy having a key, or because you want to save it and think that it's an investment for later on in later years. I don't know. But like I said, I don't think the bottom line changes here regarding the value of the books and what the price they're asking. The seller has to set the tone. I'm not an a-hole. I'm not going to say... The only time that there's an issue for me, really, is that the price isn't set and you are... Or no, the price is set and you're trying to swindle them out of that price. Meaning, that there's key books in there. They already have the price set at a solid price, and you're trying to swindle them out of it as a buyer, saying, you know what, these books are in horrible condition. This is Amazing Spider-Man #1, but look at how raggedy it is. I'm going to give you $100 for these books. That's all I'm offering. You can't get anything else for this. Try to take this to an LCS. They're not going to give you anything else. That is wrong, because now you are manipulating. You're manipulating the seller, and that's wrong. But like I said, if you approach them, how much you want for these, they set that price in stone. It is what it is. So, but like I said, I'm not an a-hole. I'm going to probably ask questions. I'm going to fill out the situation. If I feel that these people are in some form of need, I may do something or say something about it. No kids, no elders. Otherwise, it's fair game, guys. So I hope this video was you know, informative. I hope it sparked our thought process on how we as collectors and buyers approach these situations. And I would love your guys' feedback. Again, you know, and be kind in the comments. This can be kind of a touchy situation. But if you disagree with me, that's fine. Just be kind about it. If you have personal experiences, I want to hear your personal experiences, how you guys handle this situation. But I also have a feeling, too, that even for those that may think, oh, man, my conscience is weighing on me, I'm going to tell them the price. Wait until you're in that situation where you're looking through that box and you see some Silver Age or Bronze Age books with a couple keys in there and they're asking $50. Wait until you see and you're like, what's $50? Really? Tell me then if those ethics are going to, like, take over or, you know, you're going to give them what they're asking. So, all right, guys, this was a really kind of fun video. I'm kind of nervous about the comments that I'm going to be getting, but I love to see them. If you guys have not subscribed yet, please do so. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time.